Hey guys, Regular Joe CEO here. I'm coming to you from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I've spent the last 2 days at an energy conference, and today's topic is going to be about continuing education. You've heard me talk about work-life balance recently and how important it is to focus on your work. One thing I think is really important for leaders and entrepreneurs to do is kind of, what Covey calls sharpening your saw. I go to one conference a year. This is where I go, and here's the slate of who I've been talking to. I see the co-heads of energy for Citibank, the chief executive officer of Citibank, the chief U.S. equity strategy, the former deputy director and acting director of the CIA, John McLaughlin, Professor Ernie Moniz, he was former Secretary of Energy, and Alex Epstein, the president and founder, Center for Industrial Progress. He also wrote the book, The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels. Check it out, it's a good book. And today we listened to Global Head of Strategic Shareholder Advisory. We also heard from Mark Mills. He's a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute. Unbelievably great speaker. I encourage you, if you can see Mark Mills, that you take the time to do so, especially if you're in the energy industry or the alternative fuels industry, or you're interested in the future of alternative fuels or the future of fuels in general. We also heard energy investor perspective panels from some large investors, and then we talked to the managing director, the global head of research for Citi Commodities, as well as the managing director, head of North American sales. And so, that's a pretty pedigreed list of speakers. And so, I've got a lot of good ideas about how to run the business. I got down here to unplug a little bit. I'm fortunate at this particular conference I get to bring my wife, so we got a little mini, 3 or 4 hours away each day, which is pretty nice. And so, it's important that if you're going to be a leader and a manager, that you find a way to continue your education. And oftentimes that means getting by your peers or your superiors or people in your industry or even outside your industry. But it's important that you learn about your industry. You get so myopically focused on your business that you lose, perspective of the macro sometimes, and the macro is important. And so this is kind of thing how I recharge. Look, I'm not talking about heading conferences all the time. We all know those guys at work that they got to go to every conference, and the conference has got to be as far away as possible. And that's different what I'm talking about. I'm talking about finding the right thing to do, whether that's a book, whether it's a DVD, whether it's audio books, or whether it's a conference like this. But you got to be coming out of something like this, better prepared than you go in. So, everybody jokes about these things are boondoggles, and sometimes they are, but I would encourage you guys to find the right boondoggle that really helps you sharpen your saw. And so, especially as a new leader, oftentimes you need to get your skills honed a little quicker. Another thing I love about this conference and why I went, why I'm kind of talking about it, is there's 120 CEOs of energy companies here. So it's a CEOs and their spouses conference. There's a couple of CFOs I think I saw, but for the most part it is, purely CEOs of oil and gas companies, midstream companies. So I'm able to really meet the guys that are moving the blocks around the industry and talk to them about, leadership challenges I have or management challenges. This morning I had breakfast with the CEO of Weatherford and talked to him about his recent, he's been there a couple years, maybe 20 months, and talked to him about some of the challenges and the things that he's doing to make Weatherford more financially stable and, things like that. So, I just encourage you guys to get plugged into the right stuff. And if it's in a great place like this, even better, right? So, anyways, I keep forgetting Jackie will get mad at me, but check us out on our Facebook at The Regular Joe CEO, our Twitter at Regular Joe _CEO, our Instagram Regular Joe CEO, and our Facebook Regular Joe CEO. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks.